Mrs. Flaherty?
On the, we're talking about,
Tony stuff.
I don't have any comments.
Mr. Guy?
No comment.
Mark,
No,
I do
it's-
have one more. Tony, you sent, I don't know if you sent it to all the other board members, you sent it to me maybe because I was interested. There was something on South Florida Water Management District e-permitting, as I read, East Links Business Park. What the heck is that?
I think it's a minor, Tyler said it's relatively minor, Chris.
Yeah, it's all
internal.
on site, they're just doing some maintenance work and piping and plumbing. It's nothing off site, it's strictly on.
That's
site.
what's my question.
Right.
Okay, thank you. I started looking through, you had about 15 sites to go to. Ruined one whole day of golf.
Uh-oh.
Tony, thank you for preparing that
No, thank you
project
for
task list.
suggesting, and I'll update it every.
Very nice, very
But the
helpful.
second meeting of every month, I think would be the appropriate time.
That sounds good, perfect. Okay, that leads us to just a notification of the FDOT road closure at the corner of Gateway Boulevard and State Road 82. That's gonna be lots of fun,
You know, are they having bike lanes on,
Yep, both sides of the road.
yes.
bike lanes on both, and then
One's
sidewalk,
supposed to be a
sidewalk?
One's supposed to be a walking path with
and
about 6 foot wide, the other one's 8 or 10 foot wide for bikes and golf carts.
Multimodal, I think. is
Awesome.
the phrase.
And how far is that extending?
I don't know.
Is it just to the
It's all the
Daniels?
way down to the.
It's on the plan sheets all the way down as I saw it.
No, I mean, but going south, is it just, does the road construction, is it planning to stop at Daniels?
No,
No.
go till
So it
the
goes
next
on.
phase will go beyond that.
Yeah.
But this
Well, the
current-
first phase goes beyond that.
First
The
phase?
That's
gunnery.
true.
Yeah,
You're
it
right.
goes
It
further
goes
down
to-
than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Daniel's Gunnery, it's the same.
Daniels turns into gunnery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Daniels gonna, I thought that was phase one, but,
You didn't have it on the agenda, but were we going to, where are we at on authorizing notice to proceed on our six lake banks? Where are we at on that? Were
We
ready to
have,
go?
one lake, is already underway.
But I understand that, but he's doing that at his risk.
Right.
But what's holding us up from issuing it, what is keeping us from issuing a notice to proceed?
I sent I'm just waiting to get a couple contracts back that they sent in that weren't correctly done from Matt Power and Fisher Brothers. They were signed in the wrong place and didn't have the information, so they're gonna bring those to me tomorrow. I send it up to DEP, they give a little okay,
That was my
notice
question.
of award, and then we'll give them the notice to proceed.
Gotcha.
And the notice to proceed has been issued for 90 that they're over there working on
Okay.
now.
And then the other one is we got the bids on the storm sewer cleaning, and the bids came in low. Where are we at on, or what's the next step on awarding contract on those?
Contract come to the next board meeting to be approved, and we did get, had 4 bidders. We had 6 come to the pre-bid meeting, 4 bids, and they stretched from $198,000 to $350,000. The number 1 bidder, which was Matt Tower, was 198 and some change, and the next one was at 202, so $100,000. I mean,
That was a good bid.
Project within $4,000. The other one was at 234, and then we had a national at 350. So, got some good solid
Good
bids.
bids.
Our budget is 350,000, and we estimated 200,000. We're at 198.
fantastic. Look at us saving money.
And the last agenda item is, I guess, also for informational purposes, and that's Run to Home Base Florida. I guess they'll be running a race through our community.
Well, also, Gateway Greens is participating in that because, they'll be down in that area too. They'll be providing some help. The deputies will be there. There'll be about 250 people participating in the
I'm
event.
trying to tell everybody in Gateway Greens on Saturday morning, you better be using Gateway Boulevard. You don't wanna go down West Links, or you're gonna be sitting in your car.
And we did also get, if I may, a pool start date. We finally got the permit issued, and for the pool in the soccer field, it was held up on, was it ADA issues that the county was looking at, but we'll start on the 28th at the soccer complex for 2 weeks, do some demo, and then they'll go the second week in February to start at the pool.
Yeah.
That brings us to supervisor comments. Mr. Tinkle?
Do we have anything, or what are we doing relative to an agenda for our workshop on the 14th?
I'm working on that right now on a site. I should have something for you. I've been getting some input from the supervisors, and we may be able to hold it at Hampton Park.
One coming up, I was over at 90 watching them the other day doing the construction, and they've got a new backfill material, unbelievable. I was a little concerned, but crossed the picket line and went out there and looked at it, it's pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
And they're doing a great job. You can tell that all the problems of the past of doing this, doing that, are starting to come together, that they've got a pretty good operation going, and they're moving pretty fast.
And there is a irrigation line that the HOA runs that kind of works a little ways in and out, real close to the easement. We had ground penetrating radar mark that, and in a few areas where it barely encroached, they moved the trench, but a lot of those irrigation issues, like you said, they're smoothed
What
over.
I didn't understand is that on where they're at right now, on the, what is that? Devonshire side,
Right, that's where
the
irrigation.
distance from what I believe to be, is very difficult, because that lake fluctuates like crazy. But what appears to be the control elevation back to the trench is significantly less than when you get around on the east side, where it looks like it's double the deal. Is that purely because of the slope?
I think so.
That's what I thought.
It's optical, you look at it.
It's
because
optic,
it's-
you're a kid, if somebody looks at it, they'll think, why are you going all the way up in this guy's yard here, and over there you're not? And I think it's a slope issue. Other than that, the contractors, looks like he's got his act together, and he's moving along pretty good, very impressed.
Mr. Banks?
Yeah, a couple things. I think to Warren's point earlier, we keep having this conversation around doing a better job of communicating and updating the residents on what we're doing. And the website, we're going through changes. So, you know, I think in our case, we did a complete redesign, what, a year and a half, almost 2 years ago? And now we're having to do another modification, you know, with the ADA, and it might limit our ability, but, you know, the website should be a primary source for information, and then social media should be a second. But I think we need a third. Well, actually, we do have a third, because Kathleen works with the Gateway publication. But I almost feel like, you know, we need to have some kind of monthly newsletter. It doesn't have to be too flashy. It can be a 2-pager. Pelican does it. Other communities do it. It would allow us to say, these are the things we're working on. Here's our, you know, here's the things that we have slated for the year.
Who's gonna author it?
Well, we can kind of figure that piece out.
I think
Staff
we
is loaded.
considered
I mean, if
doing-
you come up with a template, we don't have to go into extreme detail, but at least we're saying, you know, here's a couple articles, and the articles are based on our primary things that we're doing in the community. And I just think that it would at least say, we're sending this out, or you know, whether it's electronic, we can figure through that to make it cost effective. But I think we at least need
We
to
had some
do that.
consideration of putting a newsletter like that in the bills.
Yeah,
Because
I
we're
mean-
mailing the bills out anyway, and that would be every other month. It would
And that's
still
fine.
be communication.
Yeah, I just think
but
we gotta
it-
do something.
Why is the minutes, Tony went up online a while ago, why are the minutes all the way back to October, not on the website? What is the
I'll have to
complicated
check.
issue there?
We just had some of them that were just signing, and they're catching up
Well, he
with
needs to go
now.
back all the way to, he tried to punch the first meeting in October, and it wasn't there.
It was, no, it was October 4th was the only, last one online. Like you told me.
I'll have to
Yeah,
check.
those for sure, that's, I don't see the ADA or anything issues on those.
And
But-
depending if they're PDF.
But our biggest problem is, and well, he's gone, but the gentleman brought up was this issue of notification. People, if they wanted to find out what's going on, give us your email address, so that we can keep you informed. I don't know what else you do,
Well,
unless we have somebody go out there at the intersection of Griffin and Gateway Boulevard with a loudspeaker and tell them what's going on.
Well, it's really easy
It's
to.
tough. They don't
if-
listen.
A lot of people don't go to websites anymore. They go to social media pages, because if you're in your Facebook or in somewhere else, you can just, you know, you get an article, you can see that's in your post, and you quickly find it. But there are things that we can do through text. If we could either text or emails, literally create a link to a standalone document that's sitting out there.
Or send it to the 50 HOAs and let, because they all
Yeah, I
have,
mean, there's
that's
different.
an easy way.
Yeah.
How we get it done, I think, there's a couple different ways, and those aren't painful, they're easy to execute. Coming up with a template that is replicatable, that is not labor intensive, and getting staff or allocating someone from staff to do it, where it's very well done. It should be not just, it needs to be really well thought through and done, but.
Well,
it
what
would be
Cat Lane's
great.
doing is great, the only problem is it's timely.
Yeah.
Well,
Or it's not timely, it's,
it doesn't
and you
take-
can't help that.
It doesn't take me long to do it at all.
Yeah.
And I've done newsletters.
And
Yeah.
once you came up with the template like they've got for this, run to home base, and you just change
Yeah.
the stories out, it can go into the bills.
You could, we could just
But keep
distribute
in mind,
it.
still, that's every other month though.
Yeah.
And also, if there's something important, like with the road closure, Chris got it out to the HOAs, and the day he sent it to Stonebrook,
HOA
it
got
went
it.
out to the,
What
it
our
went out to
HOA
the
did.
community.
Well, and
So that's-
stuff like that would be great if we had a mechanism, if we had phones, people opt in to email or text, because you could just get alert on your phone, Gateway Service District update, you click the link and it takes you to somewhere.
I like the HOA deal, because the minute he gets it, I know our HOA, it's out.
Yeah,
I mean,
same
almost
thing
immediately.
happened for us.
Oh.
The issue with getting emails and phone numbers from residents is then that becomes public record.
Yeah, no, I understand
And
that,
then-
but-
And
That's
then
the
anyone can
But
request it.
then you have to make a decision where, how you want to receive your information. If you want to receive it secondhand, and then, okay, then you can't hold us accountable for you not knowing what's going on. If you want real-time information as it comes out, then you opt in. So we leave that up to the residents to determine how they want information delivered to them. So I know the challenge, I get what you're saying. The last thing is, I've heard a lot of people within the community, who work in the community, who have some kind of impact. The question around the traffic and what's happening at Griffin, what's going on, in these different places, there's tons of questions out there. And we've talked about it in board meetings several times. Is there a way to get some type of public statement from DOT or Lee County saying what the proposed plan is for just our gateway area, and all-inclusive, whether it's roundabout at Griffin, whether it's, whatever's happening at the new school, or any improvements to the roads, short-term or over the next, however long they would commit to. Like, can we get them to update us, provide something that we
For
can?
the, for
we
the
can check that
project
out?
list, and we've talked to them about the roundabouts at Commerce and at the high school, the new one, and those are started in design this year, so we can get that project scheduled from.
Yeah, because the three areas that continue to be of concern is, one, the high school, two, Griffin, and then three,
Griffin and Gateway.
Griffin and Gateway.
Well, I
And
thought
then-
the fire department pretty well has indicated on that one, no roundabout, they want no part of it.
Well, but I think the county is saying roundabout, so, that's a tug of war, and I don't know who wins that, but the other one is over, the other one's on Gateway Boulevard and,
Commerce Lane.
Commerce Lake, so,
That's a mess.
those are the three areas I would love to be able to get some information out.
Well, if the fire department doesn't want a roundabout there, then they need to put a light in when they build it.
That's what they want to like.
I think that would be better anyway.
But at least I'd like to get something out, that it's being discussed, there's potential plan, the residents will know that something's happening.
Yeah.
And for them to know, it's not our decision. We can influence and try to, steer, but at the end of the day, we have no governing control over that. So that way they won't keep coming to us.
Have we heard anything on the apartment complex? About
Nothing,
meeting?
no public hearing,
That's
no
not cool.
core, no word. I checked last time about 30 days ago, but
Anything else?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Goff?
Nothing, thank you.
Mrs. Clarity?
I have a couple of things. Two of them are already covered. Okay. However, do you want me to get a newsletter template by February 14th in our workshop?
Sure.
You want me to do that for the workshop?
Sure.
Yeah, and it would be nice if it is a template that, where you could throw images in it and you can, so, we'll talk. We'll
I got
talk.
your first article, littorals.
Okay.
Too littoral or not too littoral?
I ran newsletter at school, so
Yeah,
I have the templates available, so, and we did put pictures and stuff.
Excellent.
Okay. We need a speed limit sign in Stony Brook, Stone Valley Loop, it's been knocked down, okay?
I heard about that, but no one could tell me where it was or where it went, and from our records, we have nothing that there was a sign ever there.
It's right next to the street parking sign.
Yeah, no, It's down further.
They reported it, and I looked on the other streets where they were, and there's no like hole where one was. I said, well, where did it go?
I'll get it exactly where it is, okay?
If it's a
Now,
replacement, we can do it. If you want a new speed limit sign, no. That would be difficult.
all right, now, I wanna talk about the minutes, okay? It is much too long. The November minutes came in January 3rd. Today is the end of January, we got December 6th. That is just, from my point of view, not acceptable. There is no reason the minutes can't be in the next book,
It should be.
okay? And as a secretary to a committee, and I had to do the minutes, there's no reason they can't be done. They're not that hard, and once you have a template, it's really easy and you listen. And, you know, maybe they can't make the next meeting because of time-wise and we have to put them in the book, but the meeting after. So we shouldn't have to wait a whole month to get minutes, or 2 months to get minutes. And I'm bringing this up because I got an email from Mr. Shoemaker concerning Infomark, is that right? Yep.
Yeah, the
Okay.
contract, right.
Their contract, right? And that's very important to me, is we shouldn't have to wait so long for minutes, and that's one of the things that should be addressed, I hope.
We could add it to the contract, if there were any cost ramifications to it, we could certainly put it in there.
I mean, if you know how to do minutes, it shouldn't take for months to do it.
You're not alone waiting for minutes.
Around the horn.
I'm just, knowing that I've done minutes
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
several.
Our
there's
PPAC
just-
minutes, our PPAC minutes are always
Okay.
live, much more than they should be.
So is that something Stephen can take back?
Yeah.
And we want those minutes on the website. That's one of the reasons they're not there. I mean, if November's minutes weren't approved to January 3rd, how could you have them up? So,
That's a good point.
all right, that's all I have.
And I do not have anything except for we are adjourned, and the time is 5:53.
Pretty good.
Wow, you made up some time. You made up.